Okay, in this explainer, we're going to talk about something you do every single day, probably without even thinking twice about it. You perform. We're going to dive into how we build, manage, and, let's be honest, sometimes struggle with the characters we play in our digital lives.
So let me just start by asking you a question. Think about it for a second. Your super professional LinkedIn profile, your perfectly curated Instagram feed, even your private group chats with your friends. Is the person you show up as in those places really the same person who's watching this right now? The answer? Well, it's way more complicated than a simple yes or no, and it tells us a whole lot about life in the 21st century.
To really get our heads around this, we're going to use a pretty powerful metaphor, the theater. I want you to imagine that every social interaction you have, every single one, is a performance on a stage. Now, this idea isn't new, but wow, has it ever become more relevant in our hyper-connected world. You know, way before the internet was even a glimmer in someone's eye, a sociologist named Irving Goffman had this exact thought. He said that all of us are basically actors, constantly performing to project a certain image to whatever audience we have, whether that's our boss, our friends, or even a total stranger. Goffman actually gave this a name. He called it the presentation of self. It's all the work we do, consciously or not, to manage how other people see us. And he broke it down into two key spaces, what he called the front stage and the backstage.
So, the front stage, that's our public show. Think about a job interview or first date. We are so aware of our audience, right? We're following all the social rules, we're projecting a very specific image. But then there's the backstage. That's our private world. It's where the performance is over. The costume comes off, and we can finally just relax and be our messy, unedited, authentic selves. And this right here is the heart of the matter. Social media, professional networks, blogs, all of it. These are our new front stages, and they're global, they're on 24/7, and they are, without a doubt, the most complex performance spaces humanity has ever created.
Okay, so if the internet is one giant stage, how exactly are we crafting our digital costumes and masks? What goes into building those online characters that we play day in and day out?
Well, the whole process is actually pretty methodical, even if we don't realize we're doing it. It all starts with selective sharing, posting the amazing vacation photos, not the picture of you doing laundry on a Tuesday. Then, we might embellish a little, make a story a bit funnier or more dramatic. Of course, we use filters and editing to create these idealized versions of reality. And finally, we get really good at managing multiple personas. The you on LinkedIn is probably a very different character from the you on Instagram, right? And here's a really important distinction. The research is pretty clear on this. Most of us aren't just inventing totally fake identities out of thin air. We're not becoming brand new people. What we're really doing is acting like editors for our own lives. We're cutting, we're trimming, and we're highlighting certain parts to present a more polished cut to the world. But what happens when you're constantly juggling that professional self and the family self and the gamer self and a dozen other edited versions of you online? Well, it can lead to what psychologists call the fragmentation of self. This feeling that your identity isn't whole, but instead is kind of splintered into all these different pieces across all these different stages.
And this brings us to a really critical turn. We've talked about how we all do this, but now we have to ask the tough question. What is the real human cost of being on stage all the time? So now, let's talk about the darker side of this digital performance. Because living this curated, fragmented life online, well, it doesn't come for free. It has some real and pretty significant psychological costs. When we're constantly scrolling through the highlight reels of everybody else's lives, it's almost impossible not to compare them to our own messy backstage reality. And the research on this is overwhelming. This endless social comparison is linked to higher social anxiety, lower self-esteem, serious body image issues, and just this nagging feeling of being inadequate or isolated. We can even get hooked on the validation from likes just to feel like we're good enough. Taken to its extreme, this huge gap between our performed self and our real self can trigger a really deep inner conflict. You could call it an existential identity crisis. It's that nagging question that keeps you up at night. Who am I, really? Underneath all of these profiles and posts and curated images. It's a genuine struggle to feel like one whole, stable person. And this isn't just about having a bad day. The constant pull between our real and digital lives can actually, slowly but surely, erode our sense of who we are. Over the long haul, it can make it harder and harder to feel grounded in a clear, stable identity. Okay, but this story does not have to be a tragedy. It's a challenge for sure. So in our final act, let's shift from just outlining the problem to talking about the solution. How can we navigate this crazy digital stage and start to reclaim a more authentic sense of who we are?
The goal here is authenticity. And let's be really clear what that means. It's not about being perfect or oversharing or never trying to make a good impression again. Not at all. It's about getting to a place where your actions feel like they line up with your inner values and beliefs, even when there's all this pressure to be someone else. It's about bringing all those fragmented pieces of yourself back together.
So how do we actually do that? Well, the path there involves a few key strategies. It really starts with self-awareness, just checking in with yourself and asking, what do I truly value? Then there's digital mindfulness, using these platforms with intention, not just scrolling out of habit. It's also absolutely crucial to set boundaries, like taking real digital detoxes. Focusing on your real-life connections gives you a source of validation that has nothing to do with likes. And finally, and this might be the hardest one, consciously choosing to embrace your real, authentic self over that impossible goal of online perfection. And you have to remember, this isn't some finish line you cross and then you're done. It's a continuous practice. Building a healthier relationship with your digital self, well, it's an ongoing journey of awareness and making small, intentional adjustments along the way.
So we end where we began, but hopefully with a totally new perspective. The question isn't just, is your online self your authentic self? Maybe, just maybe, the better question to ask yourself is, how can I start bringing them into a healthier, more honest alignment?